For disclaimer. Alrighty everyone, episode review time. Shout out to my boy Keo for any of the translation notes. So first of all, mallofbays.com. So right now for the Phoenix Wing stuff, we're going to be getting a Phoenix Wing, I think right before the month ends, once we're going to be restocking. But we do have some feather stuff, which I think might be already gone. But we have some feather and wing bundles, whatever, and that type of stuff. And check it out, we have Beyblade X and Beyblade Burst. It helps supports the channel, helps keep it alive. So I appreciate any support regardless. But this week, pretty exciting. Not only just because of the general news and that information, but also just the general episode, because I feel my sentiment towards X so far has been, I feel X's quality has been, I would say, average to below average in terms of the visuals, right? The art, the animation, how they move. But in this particular week, I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought, aside from for X, like story-wise for the writing for that part, even if maybe some episodes here and there I might have my critiques, I think story-wise for the unique scenarios that they're doing, I think good job. I think very, very good job where they expand and where they can do well. So this episode starts us off with basically X talking to Chrome, and I do like they are exploring kind of that relationship thing, because before they were teammates, whatever, and we only got really that thing, that one interaction with the manga before he left and became Common X. And I thought this conversation was interesting, actually. So I was talking to Keo about this. I want to make sure I get this exactly right. So in the context of basically their conversation when they're talking to each other, basically going like, oh, the top of X Tower is where you and I belong. Will you continue to fight with me? No, you wanna know what? I think this part of Common X is where it's interesting. Like, this whole thing with Pendragon going on, I think that stuff, when they kind of explore that, I think that's where the interesting parts of his characters come along. I also want to point this out because I've been holding on this for a while and I've been saying it here and there. But I say a lot of times, that the anime looks off-model sometimes, or really just looks like shit for a lot of shots. Okay, take for example Chrome. There are a lot of shots in the previous episodes of Chrome that I did not like, and he looked very off to me when I was looking at him. I was like, something with like the face or whatever. In this shot, dude, he looks so on-model, dear God. I'm like, yeah, this is exactly it. So again, credit where credit's due for the episode here, because visually wise, very, very good that they are on model for that. It kind of goes off on here. So the whole thing for this episode, it is kind of just focused on the training. So I've said this before that I really want to see kind of more training, that type of stuff kind of explored. So Maiden basically comments that Exu seems a little bit unhealthy. And I think she's kind of focusing more on the idea of maybe mentally. And she also does talk about that someone actually beat his cat over time, which obviously would be Burn. So they're going to do special trainings so he's not really slacking. And she's like, exercising helps the mental well-being. And Exu is like barely training, and he usually carries Bird. But actually the cool thing in this episode is that Bird is actually kind of like the one that's like helping out X here, because Bird knows how to do all these exercises, the weight training and all that stuff. So that's kind of like a funny kind of contrast where like Common X is super, super good in this regard for Beyblading, but for a lot of this other stuff, he's not really doing anything. He's not really doing any of the exercises. So I like that. I think that's pretty neat. And again, I'm so used to like the poor quality we've seen. So seeing any shot where it looks normal, I'm like, damn. Oh, I do find this a little bit funny. I'm not gonna really harp too much. But the gym people I thought was really funny for that little gag thing. They're kind of like the hype men whenever they see Common X, like muscle. So the multi-case thing, I'm gonna just bring this up again. So obviously, well, first of all, the ones that are from the Persona team, those are the ones that I'm pretty sure in the context of this episode, those are the ones that she just has. These are not like generics, like not chain or dagger, because she refers to like, hey, this is multi-wizard arrow, this is like multi's knight shield, this is common X's drawn sword, right? But what I have the issue with, and I've already talked about this with the Nizuma and just generally, I do not like how the OLM utilizes CG for the Beyblade anime, right? And you can say that, well, they're treating this as, because later on they state that, oh, she's using this specific Leon Claw model that's like King's whatever, and I feel like you can try to contextually have that for the writing, for that kind of justification for why it looks the way that it is, but the way that I always view it, and I think this is a fair point of view, it's that the only reason for this is just because it's cheap and it saves time to reuse the exact same colors, I guess, and not do that much work. So I understand contextually within the show, they gave that reason. I still do not like it from a production standpoint and just in a visual standpoint. Because to me, this is if OLM was adapting like Metal Fight, there'd be like 5 people with El Dragos, 6 exact Rock Leone 145 WB. There'd be like 2-3 Storm Pegasus, you know what I mean? Or if there's like Bucket and Shoot, there'd be like at least 3-4 people with Zeus's, you know what I mean? Like, I understand. It's just, this is the particular thing of OLM I'm not a fan of for how they adapt the CG bays. Now, what I actually like is that he actually goes through training here, and it's the idea of adapting and strategy by using different types of Beyblades. So in this, there is Drawn Sword and Knight Shield, and he actually has to use a defense type. We get a lot of good Mako content, by the way, this episode, so this episode already gets bonus points from me. But I like this quite a bit, that they're focusing on the Bey training of the strategy of using these Beyblades, of adapting to the style of these Beyblades. That's something that I think is really, really good that they're doing and that they're focusing on. So that I like quite a bit. That I think is pretty cool. And plus, there is some pretty good shots for the battling. Actually, I want to say the choreography for this one, I say pretty decent. Like, I'm going to say, oh, I'm in the void. I'm going to say pretty good for this week. Pretty good for this week in terms of just a lot of the shots, a lot of good storyboarding this episode, a lot of good hits. Again, very much this is a solid Beyblade X episode. If you were to tell me if Beyblade X was like this from the start, goddamn, whoof, we would be at a completely different kind of thought process for how I kind of have my feelings towards the anime. So basically, they just have like these segments in between where basically anytime it's actual exercise, he can't really pull it off, but anytime it's like Beyblade stuff, he's like a pro at this. So this other one, it's multi-wizard arrow. Can he overcome a stamina type? I did also think this is kind of funny in a way, that this is essentially kind of like almost in a way like, kind of almost like reestablishing kind of like this advertisement for the bays for Shield and Arrow and all that stuff. I think that's, I think it's fun in the context of this thing. This doesn't feel out of place like Burst when it kind of felt, you know, a little bit too off in that regard. But yeah, I also like the gag where every time he wins, he uses muscle. You see, that's good comedy. Again, just the other stuff with the training. So this one in particular, we already just talked about the whole thing that she has the specific King of Leon Claw, and actually, in particular about this. So she's the same model as King, but it's not King's, and they're doing this because they're likely to run into King again. So again, like like I said, I understand contextually. I don't know. I would prefer if it was maybe just a recolor. And I say that because, you know, it's weird too when you think about it. And I've talked about this actually in a discussion with Nizuma about this. But I always thought it was weird how we have all these random booster recolors of these bays. And if they want to just kind of advertise it like that would have been made more sense if they want to use different colors and that type of stuff. But basically, he has to overcome this challenge, so he's got to go through this whole process until he can do it. Drawn dagger, pretty good hits, reused camera shot, whatever. Particular conversation here that I thought was pretty nice, where he was like, hey, I hate this copycat stuff. You know, I want to actually battle the real you because you're so strong. And she basically comments that, you basically like, show me what a pro can do, maiden. And she says, if I was as good as you say back then, I wouldn't retire now, would I? And he basically wants to fight Maiden like when she's serious someday. So now there is this conversation with Maiden and Catover, and I'm gonna get the Kyo's notes in particular about this. Catover is using Maiden's first name without the honorifics, and he basically says she became more caring. I believe he's talking about like how she's kind of like treating Molty and like the whole group and all that stuff. So I think there's like the implication that they had some sort of like relationship in the past, like maybe they were teammates or something, or they I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. They just threw it in there, and they're basically talking about this whole thing with Byrne basically getting the intel on that. Now, where this gets a little bit, first of all, the storyboarding, by the way, for this scene is absolutely stellar. Again. The best scene visually, amazing storyboarding, all that stuff. It looks really, really good. Very, very good. The one thing in particular, I'm kind of... So this scene is adapted from the manga for visually. Byrne looks alright. I'm not gonna go like too crazy on it. Yeah, this shot looks nice for what they did here. This one, I kind of wish he had a little bit more of that rounder face, whatever, because it feels like in this one kind of looks a little bit older. That's just a minor thing, but I am wondering, are they gonna skip the whole Phoenix feather thing where he goes out and tests it, or are they just rearranging maybe the scenes? But yeah, aside from that, the super big one is gonna be that. What is it? The next episode. I think it's like some theme park or whatever. I don't know. This is like that Sphinx thing, and we see the BEYBLADE. I'm not too sure if we the name of it. I don't think we do, but we do get the bottom parts of it. It does seem like this is 980 Gear Needle, which that is pretty nuts actually. That we already see visuals for that BEYBLADE. So in terms of just my pre-thoughts on it, I mean, I'm very curious if we're gonna get the full information this Sunday. But yeah, the Gear Needle seems interesting. I was hoping it wouldn't be maybe as sharp as the regular needle. I was hoping maybe something closer to maybe High Needle, but whatever. I'm curious how this does compared to Gear Ball, because Gear Ball, I'm not too sure. Gear Ball, I think maybe some rounds I maybe had some bad luck, but I think conceptually it's just a little bit hard because of the RNG stuff. I think Gear Needle at least has to make more sense to me. Just because, even if it's focused more on the extreme dash stuff, I don't think that'll be so much to the detriment. At least I don't think, and I'm not really too sure. I suspect my prediction for this, which is, until we get more information and better looks, if this anime model is accurate and everything, I think better than regular needle, probably won't be as crazy as High Needle. Maybe, I don't know. But it seems interesting, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. So aside from that, really very positive for this one. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the anime develops from here. Do we get better from here? I had a discussion recently, just giving my thoughts so far. So hey man, if they do a lot of changes and it improves over time, again, be a thumbs up from me. I will take it. If like the first kind of fourth or whatever the anime is kind of shit, and then after like the rest of it's really good, then I'll take it. So yeah, again, very much good episode here. No real complaints, man. No, I thought one shot of Byrne looked a little bit weird, but yeah, pretty good episode. So thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and again, a huge thank you to Kyo for all the notes, and yeah, take care and bye.